Today, we're diving into something really fascinating, a truly profound paradox from one of the most important Buddhist texts, the Diamond Sutra. It's an idea that, on the surface, seems to completely flip the whole concept of teaching on its head. So let's just get right into it. Here's the central mystery. The Buddha, a figure whose teachings have shaped the lives of billions of people for centuries, well, he claimed he never actually taught a single thing. I mean, how is that even possible? It sounds like a complete contradiction, right? Well, stick with me, because by the end of this, we're going to unravel this ancient puzzle together. All right, so this whole paradox really kicks off with a conversation. It's a dialogue between the Buddha and one of his most senior disciples, a guy named Subhūti. But you got to understand, this isn't just some casual Q&A. This is like a masterclass in pointing to a truth that words, well, they just can't quite capture. So the Buddha poses this question to Subhūti, but it's a test, you see. He's not looking for a simple yes. What he's really doing is challenging his followers to avoid turning his wisdom into some rigid, lifeless dogma. He's checking to see if Subhūti understands the spirit of the teaching, not just the words on the page. And Subhūti's response? It's absolutely brilliant. He doesn't fall into the trap. Instead of the obvious answer, yes, of course you did, he gives an answer that seems to deny the very foundation of his entire practice. It actually deepens the mystery at first, but it's the key to unlocking the whole thing. And here it is, Subhūti's incredible insight. He gets it. He completely understands that any label we put on ultimate reality, even a powerful word like enlightenment, is just that, a word, a pointer. The actual truth, the Dharma itself, isn't something you can grab and hold on to or define perfectly. It's something that has to be experienced directly. And this, right here, gets to the absolute heart of the matter. The Buddha is warning us about a universal human tendency. We love to turn flowing, living ideas into concrete, solid things. The second we say, this, right here, is the absolute truth, we've lost it. We've created an idol, a fixed concept. And that kind of clinging is the very thing he taught us to let go of. Okay, so how are we supposed to talk about a truth that you can't really talk about? Well, Subhūti introduces this crucial term that's like a key to this entire puzzle. He calls it unconditioned Dharma. And trust me, understanding this concept is everything. So, to put it simply, the unconditioned Dharma is the bedrock of reality that's beyond all the usual cause and effect. It doesn't have a beginning, it doesn't have an end. A great way to think about it is like space itself. Space contains everything, right? Planets, stars, you and me. But nothing that happens in space actually changes what space is. It just is. This little comparison chart makes the idea even clearer. You've got conditioned Dharma on one side. That's, well, pretty much everything we experience in our daily lives. Our thoughts, our emotions, the physical world. It's all temporary, always changing, always dependent on something else. But on the other side, you have unconditioned Dharma. That's the unchanging, absolute background reality where all that conditioned stuff happens. The Buddhist teachings aren't a description of this reality, they're a finger pointing toward it. And this is exactly why it can't be a fixed teaching. You can't just pick it up like an object or put it in a box with a label on it. It's beyond our simple mental categories like good or bad, is or is not. The sutra says that all the great enlightened sages tap into the same fundamental reality, even if their own personal understanding or the way they describe it varies in depth. Okay, I know, this is all pretty abstract stuff, so let's bring it back down to earth with a really powerful metaphor from a famous Zen master. Think of it as a story about the ultimate final exam. This story comes from a man named Peng Yun. He was this highly respected practitioner back in 8th century China. And what's cool is he wasn't a monk, he was a layman. He was known for his really deep wisdom, and he managed to capture the whole essence of this unconditioned learning in a short, powerful poem. He wrote, "All directions gather together, each one learns the unconditioned. This is the examination hall for selecting Buddhas. When the mind is empty, one passes and returns." Now, this isn't just a pretty poem, it's a perfect metaphor for what the Diamond Sutra is trying to tell us. So let's break that down. What's he really saying? Okay. Step 1, people from all over come together to practice. Step 2, their goal is to learn how to experience this unconditioned reality we've been talking about. And step 3, this whole process, this whole spiritual path, is like an exam hall for becoming enlightened. So what's the answer key? How do you pass the test? It's not about cramming your head with more knowledge or more facts. The secret to passing is achieving an empty mind. And that, right there, brings us right back to the beginning, back to the Buddha's strange and wonderful paradox. The wisdom of an empty mind is the final piece of this puzzle, and let me tell you, it is an idea that is just as radical and revolutionary today as it was thousands of years ago. So here's the big reveal. The teaching of no teaching isn't a statement of fact. It's an instruction. The Buddha is essentially saying, look, don't cling to my words of the final truth. Use them as a tool, as a raft, to empty your mind of all rigid concepts, including the concepts you have about me and my teachings. And this is exactly why this matters so much. An empty mind in this context isn't a blank mind or a stupid mind. It's a mind that is free. It's open, it's flexible, it's responsive to reality as it actually is. It's not trapped by its own opinions and judgments. And it's from this open space that real wisdom, real creativity, and genuine compassion can just naturally bubble up. It's the path to freedom from the mental prisons we build for ourselves. You know, in the end, the Buddha said his teaching was like a raft you use to cross a river. It's absolutely essential for the journey, but you'd be a fool to carry it on your back once you reach the other side. And that leaves us with a really personal and powerful question to think about. What fixed idea, what absolute truth or law is your mind clinging to right now? And what might happen if you were just to let it go?